Rubino, who's the combat designer at Liquid Entertainment, working on Thor: God of Thunder. Andrew, start off. Let's just get this out of the gate here. Convince me that Thor is not just another mediocre movie game.
Sure. Well, first of all, you played it.
Yes.
So you can probably tell me that you already know it's not just mediocre.
But tell the fine viewers here.
Well, you tell it. Of course, I'm going to say that. But all right, I will. So look, it's not just another mediocre movie game. I'll give you a couple reasons why. One, it's not a movie game. We have our own unique storyline. We're not just going playing the movie over again. That's not happening. We have our own storyline written by Matt Fraction. Yes, we share some elements from the movie. Obviously, our Thor looks like Chris Hemsworth. We have some voice actors and some likenesses, but we try to do our own thing with it. Our goal was not to make a movie game. Our goal was to make a good game. Now, we wanted to make sure that it had the gameplay depth that everybody wanted, that there's a lot of variety to it, that it feels solid. But we also want to make sure that it felt like it was a Thor game. That, there was no mistaking it couldn't be somebody else really to be handled. It feels like Thor. And that's what we did, and I think we accomplished that. And I think you know it too, you're just being coy.
So, what's going on in this universe in Thor: God of Thunder? What's happening?
Sure. Well, the basic storyline, and I'll be a little high level. Excuse me. I'm gonna cough up a lung. That's gonna be good. You keep that. So high level, Thor is enraged at a frost giant attack on Asgard, and that sort of lets Loki trick him into accidentally unleashing Mangog. Now, if you're not familiar with the comics, Mangog is a supremely powerful Thor villain, and the first thing Mangog does is go back to Asgard to kill Odin and wreck house. And so Thor, unfortunately, because Loki is trapped on these other worlds, and he has to find a way to get back to defeat Mangog before Mangog kills him. That's kind of the story in a nutshell.
Yeah. So where do you look for inspiration when designing Thor? Obviously, what games do you? I'm sure you looked at a variety of other action.
Well, we looked at a ton of other games.
But also what films, maybe the comics. I'm sure you looked at.
Well, we spent a ton of time looking at the comics and anything Thor related. We looked at. So we looked at the comics. We looked at the new Avengers cartoon. We looked at the Hulk versus Hulk story, something like that. That's all we looked at. From a gameplay standpoint, we looked at a lot of different games. We looked at all the big 3D action games that you know of. The God of Wars, Ninja Gaiden, things like that. We also, we looked at those as inspiration, but we want to try to do our own thing because we don't want to just make, another copy of somebody else's game. We also make sure we made a game that really spoke about Thor.
So how long has the game been in development? And have you I know it's coming out soon, May 3rd.
Yeah.
Are you crunched for time? How's the atmosphere at the studio?
Well, it's been developed for about, I think, a little over 2 years, and we are done.
You're done.
Thor is a wrap.
Really?
Went to the press, we're all set. And what you see here is a demo version for a couple weeks ago, so there has been work, since then. But for the most part, I think we're done. Yeah. So atmosphere is pretty good. I mean, we're glad it's finished. We're excited for it to come out. People get their hands on it.
Brilliant. So tell me a little bit about Thor's arsenal. What moves and magic
Sure.
the God of Thunder packing?
Well, obviously Thor's got his hammer and Mjolnir. He's got a ton of melee moves. We got, I think, over 50 moves, but we try to keep it accessible so you don't have a lot of big combo chains to learn. But again, there's still a lot of depth there. There's a lot of moves, so it's not like I'm saying we have the Fisher Price version of an action game. There's still a lot of meat there. Thor also has his god powers. The hammer gives him control over lightning, wind, and thunder, and that's sort of your different magical abilities, if you want to call them that you can unleash at any time. But we also keep those into his combos. So even when you're doing the basic melee moves, you're seeing elements of lightning, thunder, and wind because that's what Thor's all about. Thor also has this classic hammer throw that's super iconic to what Thor is. You can do that whenever you like. And we also have grapples, and that was sort of where we spent a lot of time in making sure that when Thor gets his hands on an enemy, he really can do a lot of damage. So Thor can grapple any enemy in the game, and as you played it, we had enemies your size, bigger, huge, and we wanted to make sure that when you grapple a guy, it's not just hit a button, watch a cinematic, it's you have a choice. What do you want to do? So I can grapple a guy and blast him with lightning, or smash him with Mjolnir, or throw him away. And what's really cool with our huge enemies is you also have the ability to jump to different points on his body, and so I can grab a giant on the stomach and smash him in the gut with Mjolnir, and then jump to his face and blast him with thunder. And that's up to you, however you want to play.
Oh, very cool. So about how long is the game going to take the average gamer to complete?
I think about 10 hours. And we have New Game Plus, so if you do beat the game, you can play it again with all your upgrades and keep going again. But it's 10 hours for a first playthrough.
And as you progress through the game, obviously you can upgrade your moves and abilities. I know there's 6 different trees.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the upgrade system?
Sure. Well, as you kill enemies, you get Valor. Valor is the currency used to buy new actions. You can buy new actions, upgrades to old actions. I think we got like something like 36 upgrades. But also we have a feat system, which we think is pretty cool. The feats are these optional objectives. So they're things like finding hidden collectibles in the levels or performing in combat really, really well. And these will also reward you with value. So if you're a really good player, you can be getting these rewards all the time.
So I saw that you guys were running on the Unreal Engine 3. I know you're not on the tech side, you're a combat designer. But if you could speak about that a bit, maybe why did the dev team choose to go with that technology over proprietary technology? What advantages did that afford you? How was your experience with it?
Well, again, I'm not the tech guys. Hi, Matt. Please don't kill me. So, on a high level, from my understanding, first of all, we used Unreal. We used it before Rise of the Argonauts. We're familiar with the engine.
Yeah.
We liked the tech. It was something that we knew we could do a lot with right after the game. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
PS3 was our main SKU. We wanted to make sure that it ran equally well on PS3, Xbox. You know, historically there were some problems with that. But you played it, you saw it on both systems. Obviously, it's running well on both systems. It looks well on both systems. We have 3D on both systems. So we were able to, whatever, I can't speak to how difficult or easy it was. I don't know. But we did manage to get it done, and I think either console would be a great experience.
So, I believe I asked you this before. I don't think you're planning on releasing a demo on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah, so the good news and bad news with the demo is, the bad news is there is not going to be a demo.
Yeah.
The good news is it comes out May 3rd, which is like 2 weeks away. So you'll get your hands on it pretty soon.
But are there plans in the works to extend the life of the game via downloadable content?
I can't really talk about downloadable content right now, unfortunately.
Speaking of different kinds of content, not directly related to Thor, but generally for the gaming industry, I'm writing a feature about user-created content. I'm just trying to gather different opinions. Maybe you considered it for Thor, I'm not sure. But generally, what are your thoughts on user-created content, how it's changing the industry, how it's changing how gamers play games?
Well, I think, look, obviously user-generated content is awesome. It's awesome for everybody. If you're a developer, it's awesome because it gets people liking your product more. It extends the life of your product, so that's great. You know, the best thing that I like about user-generated content, and what we seem to be hitting the next level of it, because we've had mods for years, but now they're starting to integrate it a lot. Like Infamous 2 is obviously coming out, and they've really put in a new experience. And I think it's a great way for gamers to really... Games are on some level about expressing yourself. You know, obviously smashing a troll in the face with your hammer is one way to express yourself, but a lot of people want to be creative. They really love a game. They want to really get to express that, and it gets them excited about the product. It gets other people around them excited. And so, I mean, there's not a whole lot negative to say about it. I mean, if your game would benefit from it, not every game would, obviously. I don't know what you do for, like, you know, you can't build any stadiums in Madden, for example. But I guess you can build your characters, and that counts. But if you can do it and you have the time to make it awesome, I think it's something everybody should do, and I think it's definitely going to be the way of the future.
Brilliant. So jumping back to Thor for a minute.
Sure, why not?
What's the absolute coolest thing you've ever seen during a Thor play session?
Oh man.
Difficult question, I'm sure.
That's a tough question because I frankly think there's a lot of cool things in Thor, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on camera. Coolest thing that I've seen a lot of people, a lot of things of watching people play Thor, because what we wanted to get, Thor's so powerful, you want to get those snap moments where people are like, oh damn, can you believe that? And so a lot of people are just playing around and they use that lightning overload power and just boom, giant pillar of lightning comes on Thor, everyone on the screen gets fried, or they're grappling a giant's face and they jump up in the air in the classic Thor pose and just bring the hammer right down on him, and just people going like, oh, that was awesome, that was so cool. You know, elbow dropping Ulick is a great moment, and we wanted to make sure people feel that connection and they feel engaged, and that's what's great. Maybe that's a cop-out answer, but that's what I think.
And speaking of Ulick is one of the bosses. Can you tell me a little bit about the enemies gamers face in Thor and also the boss character?
Sure. Well, obviously, like I said before, we have a lot of characters in the game that aren't in the movie, that are right from the comics. So some bosses you can expect to see. We have Ymir, Ulik, Surtur, Mangog. Obviously, there's a lot of characters in there. Loki's going to be popping up. We have a lot of just classic Thor enemies like trolls and the fire giants and the frost giants. So there's a lot of variety, a lot of different kinds of guys. They fight very differently. And if you're a fan of the comics, great. You're going to see all these cool guys that you've been wanting to see in games for a long time. If you're not a fan of the comics, that's still cool. There's a lot of different kinds of dudes that look very different, play very different. So hopefully everyone will be happy.
Brilliant. Any last comments before we wrap up here?
Thor comes out on May 3rd. I think a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised. We put a lot of effort into it. I hope comic book fans really like it. I hope just general gamers like it. I think people are going to be pretty happy with it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
For Asgard!